Ursula Le Guin was a renowned writer of sci-fi and speculative fiction mostly, but she also dipped into poetry and essay writing. She won many Hugo Awards and Nebula Awards, among a whole host of others, and she left us with some tips for writers, which is what we're going to learn from today, so let's get started. Number 1. The most frequent evasive tactic is for the would-be writer to say, but before I have anything to say, I must get experience. But experience isn't something you go and get, it's a gift, and the only prerequisite for receiving it is that you be open to it. A closed soul can have the most immense adventures, go through a civil war or a trip to the moon, and have nothing to show for all that experience, whereas the open soul can do wonders with nothing. I love this. I'm sure I've examined that advice of go and have adventures and live your life before you try and write anything from pretty much all possible angles in these videos, but this is a slightly more nuanced take from Ursula Le Guin. I think it's all very well telling, especially young writers, to go and have experiences and to travel and all of that stuff, but of course it's just not always possible to do that. I mean, first and foremost, where does the money come from? And secondly, even if you have that, where does the time come from? We've covered that before, but the nuanced part is how you position yourself with pretty much any experience in your life. Like she says, a closed soul will have nothing to show for it, whatever might happen to them. Stories are about people. Take a drink if you're playing the Kieran Westwood drinking game. That has to be my most often wheeled out phrase. But it is true. It's the human connection that makes extraordinary events notable. It's because there was someone there to experience it. If you're not open to learning things and having your views changed and being surprised by the world, there's only so interesting your stories will get. I suppose that closed soul is really going to hinder you if you've got any aspirations of making a reader feel something when they read your work. But luckily, the opposite is true, and it's available to everyone. To quote Le Guin again here, the open soul can do wonders with nothing. If you can't travel, if you can't take a year off and go backpacking because reality is slapping you upside the head, then don't fret. Keep your soul open. However you want to approach that. I think that process will be different for everyone. But if you do that, you'll be better placed to see the stories in everything rather than having to do everything to see stories. By the way, if you're new here, I'm Kieran. I'm a writer and a freelance editor, and I want to help you start writing and stay writing. So thanks for being here. Number 2, artists are people who are not at all interested in the facts, only in the truth. You get the facts from outside, the truth you get from inside. So I picked this one partly because of how smoothly it continues from the first quote, and partly because it's such a good definition of what we writers do. And by the way, I say this from time to time, but if you write, you're a writer. You don't need to wait around for anyone's permission. You just need your own. Back to the point though, I love how simple and clear she makes this. Facts come from outside, the truth comes from inside. We need both of those, in my opinion, in order to write a story. And maybe facts in this context even refers to stuff like the research we have to do if we're writing a novel. Perhaps it's making sure we're accurate to a time period or a geographical location. Those kinds of facts. Or the facts might be referring to what actually happens in the story, the facts of it, where people go, what they do, how it all ends up. After all, there is a certain certainty to those things. If we boil our stories way down to the facts, we'd have a very blunt outline of what people are doing and where, but like a synopsis always seems to, it'll feel like it's missing something. That something might be the truth that comes from inside. That might be the missing piece, perhaps. And whether that comes from inside your character or inside you as a writer, I think that'll vary from person to person. That truth, I think, could be what all of those facts mean, what the point of those events is, the human aspect that makes an arrangement of happenings into a story. I really very much agree with her here. Artists are interested in that truth, but we do have to use those facts as a platform to show it to other people and to help them understand. Speaking of helping people, awkward segue, did you know I have an editing service where you can send me your work and I'll both line edit and developmental edit it for you. It's all done through my website. My approach is friendly and supportive, whether it's your first story or your millionth. I've worked with over 100 writers and never had bad feedback. Or if you want to read my work or get personalised video answers to your writing questions, I do all of that on Patreon. Links for both are below. Number 3, if you feel you need rules and you want rules and you find a rule that appeals to you or that works for you, then follow it, use it. But if it doesn't appeal to you or doesn't work for you, then ignore it. In fact, if you want to and are able to, kick it in the teeth, break it, fold, staple, mutilate and destroy it. I'll be honest, I didn't pick this tip because I thought it was a brand new perspective. I picked it because I'll take any opportunity I see to tell writers to disregard the rules. There are caveats, of course there are, but if I could drop in on any new writer as they prepare to write their first story, I'd say don't worry about the details. do what you want to do. Writing is all about telling our stories, how we deem them most effective. The rules of writing are there to serve us in doing that. We're not here to serve the rules. Of course, they can be extremely helpful, and sticking with them can make our stories far more universally readable and accessible, and all of that's great. Like Ursula Le Guin said, if it works for you, follow it. But in my opinion, as well as Ursula Le Guin's it seems, as soon as it starts to influence the direction of your story, or more importantly perhaps it starts to make you feel bad or less than or discouraged, swiftly get rid of that rule. Picture a fly swatter, that kind of thing. And right now, when you think writing rules, you're probably thinking in terms of grammar, line editing, structure, that kind of thing. Me too, that's what came to me first for sure. But there are wider rules than that we can still find are influencing us. I mentioned one earlier in the video. A lot of people will enforce upon themselves that they have to earn the title writer and that they need to be qualified to call themselves that. That feels like a rule that very often keeps writers down instead of allowing them to take confidence and find belonging in the craft. A lot of writers are doing this whole thing on their own because they're not sure that they fit, not sure they qualify, not sure they have what it takes. I know that because I still feel like that myself all the time. But that rule isn't helping us, so we should keep that fly swatter on us at all times so that next time someone asks us what we do in our spare time, instead of saying, oh, you know, I go for walks, we can say, oh, I'm a writer. And they'll say, what's that squished on the wall? And we'll say, don't worry about it. That got a bit weird, but hopefully you know what I mean. Number 4, see, the thing is, as a writer, you are free. You're about the freest person that ever was. Your freedom is what you've bought with your solitude, your loneliness. You are in the country where you make up the rules, the laws. You are both dictator and obedient populace. It's a country nobody has ever explored before. It's up to you to make the maps, to build the cities. Nobody else in the world can do it, or ever could do it, or ever will be able to do it again. I love the entire sentiment here, absolutely. But in particular, it's that last line that really speaks to me. I've ended up taking this video in a very confidence-boosting direction in my interpretations of Ursula Le Guin's advice, and I hope she'd approve of that. And it seems like she would, because as she said, nobody else in the world can do it but you. That's the unique ability that every one of us has. Whether you've been writing for 50 years or just since you clicked this video, you already have a truly unique perspective on the world. It might not be revolutionary, might not set the world on fire perhaps, but it's yours and yours alone, and nobody can see the world in quite the same way you can. That's already true, but then what if you take it a step further and you invent the world? Suddenly that perspective can be whatever you want it to be. You can catch a hoarse whisper in a pitch black dungeon or a muttered curse deep in the forest. You can see a crack in the ice edging towards the feet of a climber, or spot the hidden zeros in the ledger of a king's accountant. It's just bloody hard to do. But that's why we're all here. That's why I'm here, so I can help you start writing and stay writing. Have a look at this playlist of all my famous author advice videos for something to watch next. Maybe your favourite author's in there. Thank you so much for watching, as always, and happy writing.